Are you serious about your health and fitness, but overwhelmed by the conflicting information and BS all over social media? Welcome to Fit Facts. Brought to you by Brandon Pascual and Gabe Erno. With a combined 10 years of training experience, this physical therapist and personal trainer duo bring you the most up-to-date and applicable fitness and lifestyle tips based on the most cutting-edge research, bridged with field experience of what actually works and is sustainable for the long term. Enjoy.
All right, so Brandon, I remember I had this distinct memory in high school, right? It's time. I'm gonna take protein powder. I'm ready. I've made that step. I'm crossing over to the dark side. I go into the GNC, and I remember the supplement salesman, he's like breaking down to the customer about the protein powder. He's like, this is blue raspberry. Now, I recommend blue raspberry. And then he's like, this protein powder though, it's extra powerful. It's really gonna get absorbed like fast. Like it's a game changer. And the guy selling the supplements, I remember, it looked like he had not worked out once in his life. I'm just like, huh. But yeah, that was really my first experience, like actually going into a GNC. And I remember too, like everyone on my football team, they were like, creatine. We're getting on creatine. Yeah. But they thought it was like steroids. They were like, dude, you gotta make sure you drink plenty of water, otherwise your liver is gonna get damaged. And creatine's powerful though. You're gonna start squatting so much more. So I remember like that was kind of my first introduction to supplements.
Yeah, I think for me it was in high school when people started talking about the creatine and people thinking like it was like a legal steroid pretty much. Yeah, and then of course you could tell someone is on creatine when they're carrying a gallon of water around high school. I think that was a big one.
That's so funny. That was the thing. Yeah, you carry it, you walk around with the gallon jug and everything. Yeah. So obviously supplements, something that a lot of people take, and this is a big industry. Today's episode is all about the mythology of supplements, the history of supplements, how the supplement industry got to where it is, the type of supplements that work, the supplements that don't work. How as consumers can we be wise and actually benefit from our supplement usage rather than just flushing money down the toilet or just burning dollar bills, right? So, Brandon, the value of the current supplement market, take a guess. Is it in the millions, the billions? Is it in the trillions?
I'm saying billions for sure.
All right, you're right. It's actually doubled from 17, or more than doubled, from 17 to 36 billion from 2000 to 2017. Currently, it's sitting at 39.8 billion in revenue, and we're just talking about the US right now. Obviously, this is a worldwide market. So it's a huge industry, and obviously wherever there's a lot of money, there's going to be some corruption, there's going to be some disingenuous or immoral business practices, lack of ethics, and I definitely see that very prominently in the supplement industry.
Yeah, I definitely see that, especially if like you see someone who, or you kind of like are feeding into people's emotions, I guess. Yeah, when someone wants like a shortcut to their health, the supplement industries are just wanting to feed into those people and be like, hey, here's a shortcut right here. Instead of you focusing on your sleep or your behaviors, take the supplement.
It's so true, and I almost think that a lot of people, obviously some people that are really, put on a pedestal in social media, they're on steroids or their physiques, these things just aren't attainable. They're genetic outliers. But not only that, I think a lot of people just don't understand the hard work, the dedication, the years that really go into these things. So they almost think when they hear about this supplement, oh, that's what I've been missing. Yeah. That's why I haven't been getting the results that I want. Which is really, a bummer, because usually the lack of results comes down to things like improper programming, poor diet, poor lifestyle, and they end up just, wasting their money, feeling good temporarily in the moment, like they've done something they need to do. But yeah, the supplement market can be a little sketchy. So let's jump into the history of supplements, Brandon, right? So when we're talking supplements, you can think there's like vitamins, there's performance supplements. I'd put it into 3 categories, which we'll get into later. But essentially, you could say ergogenic aids, like performance aids. There could be, nutritional, like, vitamin C, vitamin B for like nutritional deficiencies, things. And then I would put it in kind of like the biohacker, biooptimization category for the third. And that's where we're trying to be like more focused. We're trying to increase, you think like nootropics are a term you hear a lot, a buzzword. Just increase performance, focus, better...
like cognition.
Cognition, exactly. Better word recall. But in 1912, Casimir Funk originally coined the term vitamin A. Vitamini.
Oh, nice.
He's not Italian, I don't know why I said it like that. But so this really spawned research that started to dive into vitamins. And because at that time, there was the germ theory that was known. The germ theory is that, you know, there's these bacteria that might get on something and that could lead to you becoming sick, right? If it's not clean. So what happened is everyone kind of overcompensated. They started totally cleaning and purifying the rice, the milk, all these foods. But because of that, and rice and milk were really, really largely consumed products at the time. Because of that, you know, all the B vitamins in the rice are getting washed away. Mm-hmm. Now people are starting to get sores in their mouths, things like these because of these vitamin B deficiencies. Yeah. Vitamin C was a really big source of... vitamin C was really found in milk a lot during that time. Like a lot of people would get it from milk. And now milk is so ultra pasteurized and everything that now they're not even getting the vitamin C. You're seeing scurvy kind of start to come a little more. So that's where, you know, along with these nutritional deficiencies and the prominence of like, okay, vitamins are a thing, that's where we start to see in 1916, one of the first vitamin tablets ever. This one's called Maston's Yeast Vitamin. And this was developed kind of like a multivitamin today. I think
like a one a day kind of thing.
Yeah, like I think yeast naturally has a lot of B vitamins in it, and then there were some other things. But it's interesting because this is what they said. This is kind of how they marketed it. This preparation contains vitamins together with other ingredients, which should prove of value in helping to improve the appetite, aid digestion, correct constipation, clear the skin, increase energy, and as a tonic to assist in putting on weight in weakened, rundown conditions due to malnutrition. So off the bat, you already see they're kind of marketing it as a panacea a little bit, like kind of a cure-all thing. So 1916, that's when really one of the first nutritional supplements really came around. Mm-hmm. And later on during World War II, Roosevelt actually created a National Nutrition Conference for Defense in 1941. I guess a little after World War II, I think. But this was the first dietary recommendation for daily allowances of vitamins and minerals. So before, you know, it was like not, hey, have this many, you know, I don't know, servings of vitamins and minerals a day. Now they're actually putting those recommendations out there because they're understanding that this is important. Humans need to, you know, consume these things.
Yeah, okay.
That's more on the vitamin side of it. And then as far as performance, this is kind of interesting. You know, think like, you know, protein powder, right? Mm-hmm. In the late 1800s, there was this dude, Eugene Sandow. Have you heard of
him? Mustache guy?
Mustache guy. So this guy's like I guess you could say one of the fathers of bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Jacked as hell, natural, because nobody was using steroids in the late 1800s. And this was in Europe, right? So he was the first to promote this substance, which they called at the time plasmon. But essentially, when you have protein powder, like dairy-based protein powders, they're derived from separating whey and casein from the milk. So it's kind of like a waste product you don't really want in the milk. So they would separate that, and then this waste product, well, they're like, oh, I could take this, and it's a lot of protein in it.
Yeah.
So this was one of the first kind of like early precursors to a whey protein. But Eugene Sandow, he promoted it. So this was kind of the first celebrity endorsement for a bodybuilding supplement in the late 1800s. Yeah. And then obviously
people didn't know he was on steroids, obviously, right?
Well, he wasn't on steroids.
Oh, he was on steroids.
This was the late 1800s. People weren't using steroids back then. Yeah. At least not to my knowledge. I know Eugene Sandow was not.
Oh, yeah.
But then you see, and he had a great physique, but you look at him, you're like, this is naturally attainable for someone with good work ethic, smart program, all that stuff. Then, you know, in the early or like the mid 1950s, 1960s, now you see coming over to America, California, the Mecca. That's where that bodybuilding scene becomes more prominent, and supplements explode because now that's at a time where now they're starting to do steroids, 1960s-ish, but people aren't aware of that. Supplements are getting promoted, and now it's becoming a really big thing. So that's kind of that history of you know, the early rise of supplements. And like we talked about, Brandon, you know, there's kind of different ways you can categorize supplements. When I say ergogenic or performance aids for that first category, what pops to mind? What's a supplement that comes to mind there?
Pre-workout, probably.
Pre-workout. Caffeine. Okay, so caffeine's one. Caffeine, definitely.
And I would say creatine as well.
Creatine?
Yeah, that's a big one.
Obviously protein powder, like we talked about. Yeah. So let's break down caffeine a little bit, or break down protein a little bit for the audience.
I'll say protein. So,
and we're gonna just to clarify. These are 3. We're thumbs up on them. They actually work.
Yeah.
We recommend them.
Yeah. So there's 2 different whey proteins or types of proteins that are very common. It's the casein and the whey protein.
For the dairy, yeah.
For dairy, yeah. And then of course there's I think it's egg protein.
Egg protein's a thing.
And there's like a vegan protein also.
Yeah, vegan protein.
Yeah, but I know with whey protein, it's fast absorbent to where it's supposed to go into your cells or you digest it faster once you intake it. And then the casein is more of the slow digesting protein, right? Yeah, that's supposedly, I don't know how the evidence is right now, where it's supposedly you're supposed to take it before bed, and then as you're sleeping, it slowly creeps into your cells, like through a certain like extended release, I guess.
Yeah, and I know it is truly a slower digesting protein. I just don't think there's much research, to my knowledge, that actually indicates that a slower digesting protein is going to be that superior.
Yeah.
You know, you think of like the bodybuilders who are like, well, now I don't have to wake up in the middle of the night to drink my protein shake. Well, you already didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
That's excessive. So, but then, yeah, we talk about different proteins. There's different bioavailability. So, like the dairy proteins, whey protein, casein, those are always going to be the most bioavailable, okay. Meaning on a gram for gram basis, you're going to absorb most of it, process most of it. I think it's around like maybe 0.92 of that 1 gram you'll actually assimilate into your body. When we go do like a vegan or an egg white, they're going to become less bioavailable. Now, I take egg white and vegan proteins because I'm lactose intolerant.
Yeah.
But I understand that I'm not absorbing as much of it. So that's just something to be aware of. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's good. Protein powders are great supplements. I think what a lot of people don't understand is that you don't need them if you're already getting adequate protein through your diet. Mm-hmm. So if you are eating the protein that your body needs and you hit that number, for general health, there's a certain number. For muscle growth, it's about 0.75 grams per pound of body weight. In some cases, if you're in a cut and a calorie deficit, it makes sense to maybe boost it as high as like a gram per pound of body weight.
Yeah.
Anything higher than that, unnecessary. You don't need to do. And this is all based on research, right? This is not an anecdotal bro thing. Yeah. This is based on the best research. Anything above that, there's literally no point. Uh-huh. So if you're eating that much protein through chicken, through beans, through just dairy, these organic natural sources, having protein powder will literally not make you grow muscle anymore. When protein powder is helpful is if you're not getting enough through your diet. Yeah.
So it's like if it's inconvenient for you, so let's say like in a rush, like what I tell some clients is like if you're in a rush in the morning and you don't have time to like make eggs or whatever, just get your protein powder and put it in a supplement bottle and shake it up and then just go on your way to work.
It's great, yeah. It's a great tool. Yeah. A tool belt, because like maybe you're busy, maybe you just have eaten throughout the day and you're like, wow, I had a really carb heavy day. I'm lacking protein. End of the day, swallow a protein shake.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a great tool, but again, if you're already getting adequate protein, the powder will literally do nothing more.
Yeah, it's better to get it through Whole Foods.
Yeah, because I've seen a lot of clients where they think like, oh, I missed my protein today, and then they tell me what they ate, and I'll tell them, dude, you had like 225 grams of protein already. You don't need the protein shake. Yeah. You're good on protein.
Yeah.
Like this guy weighs like 180 pounds. He had 225 grams of protein. You're good. You check that box.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I remember when I first started buying protein, I would buy the expensive ones in GNC because, like you said, like they made it sound super superior. So it's like it gave me a dependency of like drinking it more.
Oh, like, rather than food.
Rather than food, yeah. So I would drink it in the morning and then at night. Back in high school, and then it really didn't do shit for me because I wasn't eating any or that much protein from morning and night. It was probably just like one slice of a sandwich or something.
That's a great counterpoint. So protein powder can help if you're not getting enough protein.
Yeah.
But if all you're getting for your protein is the protein powder, well, that's still probably like if you're just having maybe 50 grams of protein a day and you weigh 150 pounds. That's not enough protein.
Yeah, that's not. It's like, it's like around like 50 to 60 grams of protein a day.
Yeah, and when I say it's not enough protein, I mean like not enough to optimize muscle growth. Yeah. For just existence, like it's probably enough. Yeah. I don't remember what the recommendation is.
I don't either.
for, you know, us, we're trying to get jacked out. Exactly. We're trying to stay muscular or become muscular.
Yep. Becoming.
Exactly. Now, that was our protein. We now shift to creatine. Creatine is the most studied sports supplement. Me and Brandon both take it. We recommend it to everyone. There's almost no side effects. If you get a side effect, it's probably just going to be some gastric distress, pretty mild. It'll go away if you stop taking it. And creatine's great. It is going to increase phosphocreatine stores in the body, which will lead to producing more ATP. Essentially, you're going to be able to you're just going to be able to lift more weight. You're going to hold more water in your muscles. Your muscles will look a little fuller.
Yeah.
And then because you can lift more weight, you'll actually gain more muscle too, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, studies have shown up to some cases like 20% increases in strength. It's always significant. Anecdotally, all my clients who take it really benefit from it. So I highly recommend creatine for performance.
Yeah, I would say like the only disadvantage is like you have to go to the bathroom a lot. Like as in like peeing wise.
Oh wow!
Like for the first, because you're drinking a lot of water. I think because a lot of people are still like kind of drinking a lot of water, like what we said earlier, where it's like you're supposed to drink a gallon of water with it. I mean, as long as you're like drinking, first of all, you should be drinking a good amount of water.
I personally think if you're drinking a normal amount of water, you don't need to drink more. I think that's kind of a myth with the whole like you need to drink a gallon of water a day because you're on creatine. That's my view on it. But you definitely will hold more water in your muscles, in your muscle cells. So, like, I know typically within the first week, it's normal, week or two, to see, like, your weight on the scale increase 3 to 5 pounds. Yeah. And that can really throw a lot of people off, but it usually levels out.
Yeah, and then I know some people, they do, like, the loading phase of when they first take creatine.
Yeah.
They take, like, I think, like, 5 servings in the first day, and then the second day they wean down to, like, 2 or 3.
The loading phase is, I think... It's 20, so the normal creatine dosage is 3 to 5 grams per day. I just take 5. I think for the loading phase, it's about 20 grams per day, and you take that for about a week.
Oh, a week. Okay.
And then you taper down to just a regular amount. The whole purpose of the loading phase is normally, it's going to take about a month to get the benefits of the creatine, but if you load it, you can get those benefits faster. I've had some clients go, well, can I just perpetually load it and I'll get even more benefits? It's like, no, just like protein. Once you saturate your creatine stores in your body and maintain that, it's not like you're going to go over it and get better. It's just, you have it or you don't. You will. It will give you effects a little faster. So maybe instead of taking a month to notice effects, it'll take a week or 2. My thing on it, though, is a lot of people will get some gastric irritation with the loading.
That's true, yeah.
Get the shits a little bit. I don't think it's worth it. Just take 5 grams a day, wait a month, and then be happy with your benefits.
Yeah, exactly.
But caffeine's the final one. Obviously, that's a thermogenic, so it's going to curb hunger a little bit. It's gonna increase movement, so you're gonna burn more calories throughout the day. It's also a performance booster. Caffeine's gonna give you more energy, more strength, more power output in the gym. Now, I don't really take caffeine anymore. I went through a phase and I definitely saw that my workouts were better. I was stronger. But I'm just so caffeine sensitive personally, it's not worth it for me. I get like anxious and it affects my sleep and stuff. Yeah. So I would just say that, know how you work with caffeine and use it accordingly. I know you love caffeine. You're a caffeined.
Well, it's funny because I even take I take like those pre-workout drinks, like how C4 has energy drinks, but they don't have that beta alanine, so it's not that typical pre-workout. I actually take that and like Rain, Bang, and all that, even like just for work also. Yeah, I'll take those for like work, like or just like if I were to drive somewhere, just like it's like I think about it like a soda, but it's 0 calories. You know what I mean?
Totally.
So before a workout though, it depends. I do have a pre-workout. It also depends how late I'm working out, because if I am working out super late, like at 8 or 9 p.m. I tend not to take it because I want to get some good sleep.
Totally.
But if it's in the morning and then I didn't get that well of sleep the night before, I will take pre-workout. Yeah, but typically I try not to. I only have it there just in case, because usually it's not like when I go into a workout, I go right into like heavy weightlifting, because that's when I usually need it the most on my compound movement days.
Sure.
Yeah, but usually I'll just get some mobility or movement in, and then I'll naturally wake up hopefully.
And it's people too don't always understand that there's a half-life with caffeine, to where I think what I've seen work best for most people is kind of a rule of not taking it after noon. Now, I know you definitely don't follow that rule.
I know.
But I've seen, like, if you take it after noon, it's probably going to affect your sleep, because the half-life is such that it's still going to be in your system to an extent. For me, I wouldn't even want to take it past 10 because, again, I'm so hypersensitive to it.
Yeah, my rule is actually I don't take it past 5.
Yeah, that's so lame. But there's outliers, right? Yeah. We have this trainer who works for us. He has a specific gene where he just assimilates caffeine and processes it way faster. He'll chug like a Ghost energy drink at 9:30 at night.
I feel like that's what I have, maybe.
You might have the gene, dude. So yeah, and then the last category I would say, so far we went over obviously our health supplements, right? Mm-hmm. Or no, we actually just went over our ergogenic aids, our performance aids. Health supplements next. Think vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin E, all this stuff. A lot of what people do with multivitamins and health supplements, they think that it's like, oh, I might have a deficiency in this, or it's good to take this vitamin.
Yeah.
The thing people don't realize, and what we were really interested to learn on the podcast with Hillary Cole, the dietitian, is that if you don't have a deficiency, it's not going to do anything to take that multivitamin, to take your vitamin, whatever. Now, like certain ones, I know they can give some effects, like B12 can be kind of energy boosting.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a vitamin D deficiency and you're taking vitamin D, some people are kind of the mindset, I heard an argument with a dietitian and her boyfriend. Well, I'm taking it so it's even better, right? It's like even better than having the normal levels. No, if you are not deficient, taking more is not doing anything. You're wasting your money. Okay. And people don't realize that the only way to know if you're deficient is to actually get lab work done. And, with a medical doctor and, or a functional medicine practitioner or whatever, to get the lab work, the blood work, and see, are you deficient or not? Now, I will say that I am a little bit of a hypocrite because I know that, like, people tend to be deficient in vitamin D. I'm a white dude. Like, I might be. I take it because it's such a cheap supplement. So I'm like, I don't really care with that. But at the end of the day, if I was not deficient, which it's possible I'm not, I could just be wasting my money.
Yeah, I feel like that's a common thing with a lot of people who take vitamins.
Yeah.
Because, like, they feel like more is better. It's like when people want to save money, they think of it as, like, money. It's like, oh, I don't have to save 100 or, like, 1,000 a month, but I guess more is better. I guess it's not the same for vitamins because it's only benefiting you if you're deficient in it. It's not like it's not like that extra vitamin D or whatever goes somewhere else, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it just gets like, oh, now we're going to get you more jacked.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But a lot of people are deficient in vitamin D. That is really common. And then there's some general things that, like, I take cod liver oil because that's just, it's good for you and anti-inflammatory and just good mood boosting, all these things. But I would put that's a little different than just like deficiency. Like another example is now we get into our third category, biooptimization.
Okay.
The people who are always trying to like increase mental acuity or focus, and that's where you see like the biohackers.
Like the nootropics.
Nootropics, yeah. L-theanine is something that is becoming more popular. I've messed around with that a lot. It can be paired with caffeine a lot. It's a non-essential amino acid. And it will curb the effects of maybe that jitteriness or anxiety that some people get with caffeine.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make you sleepy. So that's an example of something that like people will use to increase their focus and stay calm and focused. And ashwagandha is another that you were telling me about.
Yeah. Oh yeah, with ashwagandha, I definitely take it twice a day, morning and then afternoonish. And I do feel like it has helped me like reduce like some kind of like anxiety that I have sometimes.
Yeah.
Or it helps me stay relaxed before the evening.
So that's good. And then we got to think with these things too. Like these are things where it's not like you need them, but they can benefit your life. I take a magnesium supplement to help me relax, calm down, go to sleep sometimes.
I do as well. Yes.
But how do we know if these supplements are actually effective, right? How do we know that we're not wasting our money? Well, there's two things we gotta make sure to do with our supplements. One thing you mentioned, you should bring it up here.
Third party tested.
Oh, okay. What does that mean?
Yeah, so you want to make sure that the company that has the supplement is getting it tested, that what it says on the ingredients or what it claims, it's getting tested by someone who has no affiliation and there's no money going into that third party and no money going out of that third party also. So there's no profit being shared.
Exactly.
Yep. So it's like no bias there.
I wonder if I was sitting out of frame there.
I don't think you were.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like people shouldn't trust a supplement company to actually, study and say that the claims are what they are, honestly, because there's been so many instances of lying supplement companies, right?
Like it says like burns fat, lose weight, and then but there's an asterisk sign at the end.
Or there's even cases where they'll say like we have this much protein in a serving, and then you find out there was lying. This famous case, this company they do get third party tested in this instance, so that you're thinking okay. They cheated even further. When a company tests, so they would claim like we have this really high amount of protein in our protein supplement. And when a company like tests that, they don't test, so protein has a bunch of different amino acids in it, as you know. And what they'll do, they'll just test one amino acid. They'll be like, okay, if this is 25 grams of protein per scoop, then there should be this much leucine in it, which is like one of the amino acids or whatever. So then they'll like just test the leucine. So what they did is the amino acid spiked it. So they just put extra leucine or whatever in it, and it tested as having that amount, but it was actually way lower. So they were cutting costs, lying to the consumer, and raking in the money. They eventually got caught for that. But that's just a huge example like why you really need third-party testing, because people are fucking dishonest out here. People want to make money off you by misinforming you, by misleading you. They don't give a fuck. It's so fucking terrible. So that makes me mad.
I mean, like, you brought out like the amino acids, because I know a lot of people, they do take like branched chain amino acids.
Okay, so we didn't go over that. It's a good thing you brought that up. In our performance area, we talked about the 3 we thought were good: creatine, caffeine, protein powder. BCAAs, what do you think about that, Brandon?
I don't think it works.
Bullshit.
I'm softening the blow right there. Because I know like there was a trend about like 5 or 8 years ago when people would come into like those commercial gyms with a gallon with colored water. And people would be like, oh, we know what you're drinking. And it's like branched chain amino acids. And I'm probably guilty of doing that as well. And also because, not only because I thought it was helping, but also that shit tastes good.
It tastes good.
It does taste good. Especially the one by Extend. Do you know that brand? Extend.
No,
it was a very popular one, but they had different flavors of like it was like Gatorade. So that's why it made it like look more appealing, because it's like, oh, it's like a blue colored water, purple colored water.
It's funny too, because these things are marketed so well that I literally remember my professor of one of my ENS, exercise nutrition science courses in college, telling the class BCAAs are not actually going to help. There's no research that supports that. Research actually supports that they don't really help with like muscle gain or workout performance. And people in the class were still like, well, I think he's wrong because like I've taken them, blah, 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 blah. The placebo can be so real. So the marketing is done so well on this, but I was making fun of a client because he had the BCAAs. So I was like, oh, you like that flavored water? He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, dude, it doesn't do anything. So how do we know if these supplements, like test boosters too, a lot of those are bullshit. I see more of a resurgence of those, some more science-based ones recently, but a lot of test boosters too, bullshit. How do we know if these things actually work? Well, you got to do your research. You got to be an informed consumer. What I recommend doing is there's a website, it's called examine.com. Examine.com is great because you can just look up creatine. Boom, they're going to give you a little summary on like, okay, this is what creatine is supported to do, this is what it's not. They'll cite all the research, everything, and you can do that with whatever. I even did that with ashwagandha. And then interesting about ashwagandha is you take it, what did you tell me you experienced from it?
More relaxation, more zen. Not that kind of zen.
But you know, it's a little like stress relief.
Stress relief, especially it helped me get into like my nightly routine a little better.
And evidence supports that pretty substantially. What evidence shows could be possible, like there's some evidence but not enough to make any claims, is that it boosts testosterone. However, what are almost all of the test boosters coming out incorporating? Ashwagandha to boost your testosterone. Ashwagandha is like a natural steroid. Like, I've heard that before. And it's crazy because, again, what all these supplement companies do, they will cherry pick studies. There will be this one study that showed promising effects. But then you got to remember that one study doesn't mean anything. It's because people think science, it's science so it's true. No. Science is science, but humans conduct science. They're fallible humans. So maybe the study was conducted in this way where, okay, that's promising, but we need to do these other studies. Or maybe the study was done improperly, or the data from the study was framed in this way where actually it's so what I'm trying to say is people just sometimes think this one study said this. One study doesn't mean shit. You need to look at things in the wider, in the macro lens. And that's what supplement companies always do. They cherry pick this one study and they go, oh, ashwagandha, boost your testosterone. No. So that's why I love examine.com for that, for being an educated consumer.
Yeah, definitely look into that one, especially if you're like into supplements.
Seriously. Seriously. But, placebos are so powerful. And that's why even with like BCAs and stuff, I've had clients, you probably felt in the moment like this is helping me.
Yeah, definitely. Especially because when I would taste it, like what I said, the taste was tasting pretty good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I felt like when I was taking it, it led me to, take my workouts more seriously. I was a little more active, doing more cardio, checking in on my sleep, maybe eating a little better. So that placebo effect is strong.
Yeah, and even if you look at like double-blind studies, like double-blind studies are like the gold standard, where you take a study and like both the researchers and the participants, they don't know who has the placebo and who has the real thing. So it's the best. And in these studies, you still see people who take placebos, they'll get like, there will always be a certain benefit, a certain percentage of people who feel better or feel the effects from just the placebo.
Yeah, I bet.
So like that placebo effect is real, and I think is like it plays in a lot into when people think like, oh well, I've been taking this and I've gotten stronger. It's like, well, you've also been consistently training. Or you started taking this and then you realized, well, I just spent a lot of money on the supplement. Maybe I should start sleeping better too. Maybe I should eat more protein.
Exactly.
So oftentimes they'll think it's one thing if you look at the wider swath of everything that the client, the person, whatever has done, okay, well, is it really the supplement that's helping you?
Like you want to make sure that you could do like 1 week without the supplement or a month without the supplement to kind of like see if it was a supplement or not.
Yeah, I mean, really, like you have to make sure all else is equal.
Yeah.
Like nothing else has changed. Yep. And that's pretty much impossible to do for most people.
Exactly.
There's this really good documentary called Bigger, Stronger, Faster. And they talk about kind of like the history of steroid usage and PEDs within like sports, bodybuilding, and on a wider scale, how people will kind of promote these certain images and things of like, I'm jacked because I take this whey protein 3000 ultra. And there's a scene in it where they talk to this guy and he's a fitness model. They're like, do you feel unethical about the fact that you are promoting a body which you claim you're open to me right now that you're on steroids and you're promoting the supplement? And he's like, no, like if people think that they can look like this from this supplement, it's their fault essentially.
Yeah.
But it's people don't realize that, and I think that for a long time people realized it less and less. I think performance enhancing drugs are becoming more normalized to the point where people are kind of open about it now.
I bet.
So I hear a lot more people are like more educated, more aware that people take this and not all these physiques are attainable, but still there's so much just misinformation.
Yeah, like I know how like in functional medicine, like TRT is becoming a very popular thing.
Testosterone replacement therapy.
Yeah, testosterone replacement therapy. So a lot of people who are like in their 40s, 50s would be still taking the actual illegal steroids.
Yeah.
But then they would claim, oh no, I'm not on steroids. I'm like taking TRT.
Yeah.
Just to promote a TRT company.
Yeah, some people will be on, a full steroid cycle. Yeah. And it used to be you would be on, some type of steroids and you would say, I'm natural. Yeah. Now people are too smart for that. Right? So the new thing is you go, I'm just on TRT. Right. When in reality, it could be a lot more than that. So I think really where I'm coming from is the more I learn, the more knowledgeable I become. And I think that both of us, are experts in our field to an extent. I used to think there was a lot of ignorance by these marketers and these people and that they were unintentionally misleading people. Yeah. But I actually believe now that there's a lot of intentional, malevolent, just unethical intent where people are fully aware that they're lying to the consumer. Yeah. They're not like, oh, whoops, I messed up. They're like, I know I'm lying and I don't care because I want to make money. Yeah. Because it's so profitable. Supplement companies are so fucking profitable. It's crazy.
Yeah, I bet. I know there's this podcast, you know which podcast I'm talking about, but when he would do like physique competitions, some people would recruit him after the show, after the competition, because he's looking super lean. Yeah. Yeah, so then he'll be like, oh yeah, hey, can we take a picture for you for our supplement company? Crazy. And then they're all like, okay, sure. They take a picture of him. And then after they tell him, hey, I want you to go ahead and just be relaxed in the off season, eat as much as you want, and take a picture. So that first picture of him on the competition, that's the after picture.
This is him when he's starving himself, dieting so hard, spray tanned up.
Yeah, that's the after picture. Then they want him to take a before picture, which is a picture months after the competition. This is him like being in the off season, just eating, enjoying life, whatever. And then, of course, they're going to make that the before picture.
Lighting's not as good. Yeah. Push your stomach out a little bit.
So long story short, these supplement companies are making people take, like, reverse before-after pictures.
Yeah, I mean, just where there's money at, like, human beings, a lot of us, we have, you know, we don't have strong character all the time, strong morals, and a lot of us do, and we're still willing to compromise it. The more money, the more amount of people are going to be willing to compromise morals and mislead people, and that happens in this industry. A lot. So what I recommend, you got to do your research. If someone's promoting a supplement, like, think, are they associated and affiliated with this? Are they getting a monetary kickback from it? Like, why are they promoting this? Exactly. Do I really need it, you know?
Yeah, like, I know with, like, because I get free samples, especially when I would go to the fitness expos a lot, I would get a lot of free samples. Yeah, and then I would actually give some to my clients because I don't need all these packets with me. Yeah, like when I was working at a commercial gym, and they would ask me like, "Are you affiliated with these supplements or anything?" I'm like, "No, I just don't want all these hoarded in my kitchen."
That's so funny. You just had so much at that point. There's this brand Umzu, and they really annoy the shit out of me because I see their ads all the time on YouTube. I'm not saying their supplement quality is bad or anything. I really don't know, but like this goes more into the misleading element. The guy, Christopher, whatever, the CEO of Umzu, he tells the story how he went to medical school to be a doctor and he got sick and he dropped out of medical school and he researched and he found out how to cure himself. And then that spawned this creation of the supplement company. It's like that story right there. What are you saying with that story? You're kind of making these like really grandiose claims in this subtle way. Yeah. Where it's like, even if you're not saying this is going to cure your cancer, this is going to do this, then...
Yeah, he actually had cancer?
I think it might have been cancer, but he had some like very severe illness. Yeah. So even if you're not directly making that claim, then when you come out and he has this thing where it's like, oh, like there's this whole prevalence of men with low testosterone, and then he starts to sell his redwood testosterone boosting supplement. It's like, well, what are you really saying by that? You're saying take the supplement, your testosterone's going to get better. Could it a little bit? Maybe. Is it the thing that you should do first? Fuck no. Should you waste your money on this? Probably not. So that's an example. It annoys the fucking shit out of me so much. Yeah. But yeah, ultimately, you know, like these are supplements. They're not panaceas. They're not cure-alls. Supplements are literally in the name. Supplement. A supplement to your core foundational, your lifestyle.
Exactly. You know? Lifestyle, how to control your stress levels, diets, because they should kind of supplement like how your whole overall outlook on your perception on health. Yeah,
and I think optimally, the general person who's more casual with their health and fitness goals, they're just going to do the core foundationals, and then the more serious person now, they might want to add the supplements to get that edge. How it ends up looking usually is the more casual person, they barely do the foundational stuff. They get the supplements. Yeah. And then the more consistent person who really knows the shit, I tend to see them initially taking less supplements actually. You know, like I take less supplements than I did when I knew less because now I realize like it's not actually going to do as much for me.
Yeah, like in college I was hooked on so many supplements like I was taking L-carnitine, which is claiming to like burn fat or lose weight, and then I felt it as a thermogenic effect, so I felt myself sweating during class, like even before and after the gym, and I was like, oh, this shit is working. But I looked at my body and I'm like, yeah, this isn't working at all. But I still took it for 3 or 4 years,
and I bet it probably did do something, but was it enough to really move that needle and drop tons of body fat without you putting disproportionate focus into your diet? Probably not
now.
Because you said it didn't do anything, and I know recently when you got very, very lean, you weren't on L-carnitine at all.
I wasn't on L-carnitine. Yeah. It was just creatine and pre-workout.
There we go.
Actually, not even, that was caffeine pills probably.
Caffeine will do that for sure.
Caffeine.
But anyway, guys, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here. Supplements are supplements, and that is it. The supplement industry is rife with bullshit, but you can also be an educated consumer, and you can learn how to use supplements in a positive way. If you've been listening to this podcast on
Spotify,
Apple Podcasts, Google,
I think that's
YouTube. Please, if you're on Spotify, rate us 5 stars. Apple Podcasts, rate us 5 stars. Google, you can't do anything. I love you though. And YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. Comment what supplements you're currently taking or a supplement that you used to take is.
And then tell us your favorite steroid also.
Whoa. Cut.
I'm just kidding.